Hello, in this video I'm gonna explain how to set up and use your Fenton RP165 record player. Okay, so this is the record player as you can see right now, and we'll be plugging it into the power as well as to the speakers. So we'll see everything. We'll be using that, and I'll show you how to play a record on it. But before we do anything, I'll explain all of the buttons and ports and everything on the record player. I think that will be quite useful, especially if you're not experienced with record players, or if you've used one in the past, because this type is a little bit different than some other ones. You know, just vinyl records vary between each other. I will actually try to place it somewhat differently, so you'll see a little bit more. Okay, and as you can see right here, we have the spinning disc, the turntable, the needle that is currently locked. It also previously had, I've taken it off, this cover. I'll show you. I'm gonna put it on. It slides on and off. Of course, you don't need to have that on all the time, but if you want, you can keep that on when you're not listening to any records and just take it off whenever you need it. Just remember to take it off, because if you don't, then you can scratch the player if you don't take the cover off. Now we have two dials here. The volume, which when set to minimum disables the device, which means the turntable doesn't spin and it doesn't produce any sound. It will be indicated by this little diode here between these two dials. Also, there's another dial that lets you switch between phono and Bluetooth, because this record player has Bluetooth built in, which means that when you switch from phono to Bluetooth, it will play music that you cast from your phone, for example, via Bluetooth. So I think that is also a great option. Now we have this lever here. When I open this lock here for the needle, I can pull the lever up, so the needle goes up. I can easily readjust it, and then pull the lever down and it'll go onto the record. It'll just slowly flow onto that. When you're done, you can just lift it, go back to its first position and lock it. Now we have two switches here. The first one lets you switch between 3 different speeds. The most common one is 33 and a third, which is the first one, and it's for most of, I think, all of these days LPs. LP is the big disc, the disc that is 10 inches, and that's basically it. Then there's 45, which is for the smaller discs around this size, which are 7 inches, and they are typically just have one single song. Also, some of these smaller records have a bigger hole. So for that bigger hole, you can use this adapter, just put it on here and then use it with the disc. And there's also 78 for very old records, but for that I would also recommend getting a different cartridge for your needle, because it has a different needle width. So for 78 I would get a different cartridge that is made for 78, but you most likely won't be listening to that old records anyway, but if you do, just so you know. Then there's another switch for auto stop, and I'll show you how it works just in person in a moment. And let's begin with setting up the thing. Also on the back we have 3 ports. On the back we have the DC, which is for power, and 2 RCA outputs for the speakers, because it comes in a bundle with 2 passive speakers, which means that the amplifier is built into the record player, not into the speakers. Let's place it here. First I'm gonna plug in the speakers, later on the power. So the speakers can be either put on the sides or if not on the sides, then below, underneath the player, and I think I'm gonna do it that way. So first of all, let's see, we have the red RCA output for the right speaker and the white one for the left one. So I'll plug in the red one, the red speaker, the right one. I'll just untie these cables and let's plug that in. Okay, so I'm gonna plug it in on the back right here. Then let's get to the second speaker, the left one with a white RCA cable, as we can see right here. And going back to the 78 and the different needle, I've mentioned that because if you use the typical needle for 33 or 45, because they are universal, between 33 and 45, if you use it for the 78 record, you may just destroy the record, and you most likely don't want that, since 78 records are pretty expensive right now, since they are sort of really old. I'm gonna place the speakers below, but as I said, you can also place them on the sides. You can space them further away. It's actually best to space them around like 50 centimeters from each other, which is 50 centimeters. I don't know what's that in inches. I think like 20. So you may want to space them 20 inches from each other. Now let's start off. I'm just gonna plug the power in. You can see it comes with the power adapter. Just plug it in on the back as well. Okay, once we have everything plugged in, we can place the vinyl record on the turntable. So let's open the lid. Place the record here. Also remember, they have sides, so pick the right one that you'd like to listen to right now. Now let's start everything by first taking the cover off the needle if you haven't done that yet. Then let's turn the device on. So basically I'll need to switch to phono on the right dial. For a video on how to use it with Bluetooth, you can just watch another video on our channel on how to use it with Bluetooth. So let's switch to phono. Let's change the volume. I'm gonna put it on minimum for now. Also make sure that the speed is correct one, most likely 33 for the LP. And now let's open this lock here. Lift the lever, and now the auto start is when you adjust the needle and the disc starts spinning by itself. So that's how auto start works, auto stop. And also when it goes to an end, while you're listening, it goes to an end, it stops here. So That's great, but also if you'd like, you can turn this auto stop off and it'll constantly spin until you turn the device off. I'm gonna turn the device back on, turn auto stop on, and place it in the correct height. Then lower the lever, you can see it lowers, and it's gonna start playing soon as it hits the right, yeah, and it has started. So now it's working basically. You can turn the volume up or down, and I'm gonna turn the device off. I don't wanna listen to it right now. That is basically it for the vinyl record setup. The last thing I would recommend if you're not familiar with vinyl records is that you put your vinyl record in a sleeve that is anti-static, so it just doesn't have any static stuff on it, and also that you touch it on the borders where there's no music, because you don't really want to damage the other parts. I have it a little damaged, so yeah, but that's what you typically want to avoid. And I hope that this video was helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.